What's up, YouTube? Coming at you with a sharpening vid today. This is with my KME on a Benchmade with D2 steel KME sharpening system. I've already got the knife and the clamp, and I'm using the Japanese Waterstones. This is a buddy's knife, and the angle on it from Benchmade was pretty high. He's used it for, I don't know, maybe a year or so, and it was ready for sharpening. And he knows I do a lot of sharpening, so he asked me to do it. So I've already reprofiled the knife with the KME Diamond Stones, the new Gold series. So I've got it refined up to a pretty nice edge, but I'm going to go ahead and try to go for a nice mirror polish with the KME Waterstones. And talk about some of the differences between using these and using the KME without them. So first of all, you do have some water here and there, so I like to just lay a rag right here. And it's just going to keep you from dripping and making a big huge mess, or catch your drips, that is. And another thing I do is you have to soak your Waterstones. So here's my 1000 grit. I've already been started here a little bit. And I have separate Tupperware containers. I just picked these up at the dollar store, and I've labeled the lids of them. This one is 1000 grit. So I don't mix my slurries, and I don't mix the 1000 grit then with the 10,000 grit. So basically, you want to keep your Waterstone wet as you're sharpening. You can just dip your finger in there and just rub that around, and that's more than enough for a 1x4 stone to keep it going. And I soaked it for about 5 minutes before I started. That's another little thing you definitely want to do, but you don't want to soak them too long either. These are not permanent soak stones, and you definitely want to do them about 5 minutes before you start. So the other stones, for example, are laid out here, and as I progress, I'll switch stones and switch Tupperwares. But so basically, like I said, this knife already has a pretty well refined edge. It's already reprofiled. We're not going to be looking for the burr and all that. We're just going to be flipping back and forth, refining the scratch pattern. And I'll take you through the different stones and show you the adjustments I make for the stone thicknesses, because Waterstones, number one, they come in different thicknesses. Some are thicker than others. Number two, as you use Waterstones and as you condition the Waterstones and maintain them, they will change thickness on you. And the KME allows for micro fine adjustments of both the angle and the clamp to allow you to do everything you need to do. So I'll show you the way I switch there. The rubber band is just on there to keep me off of the thumb studs, so that I hopefully don't bump into his thumb studs there and put a gouge in them. Get a really good feedback and feel from the Waterstones. Really a joy to use. The green Japanese Waterstones are referred to as the brick of joy or the stone of joy. Really good stones. Let's go ahead and just check our edge there. The top of the stone carrier for the KME is wood, so I just flip it upside down. It's already over the rag. I've got my water right next to it. And you want to keep your Waterstones wet. You never want to let them get dry. And one drop, like I said, is just plenty for me. I've also got my extra fine diamond down in there so that I can create a slurry and I can keep the stone flat. And you don't really need to do this right now. I don't really need to do this right now, that is. But that's all it takes there. And you have a nice slurry now. And ready to keep going. Now when your stone gets actually dished, you just take your Sharpie, draw a grid on the stone of lines going one way and another, and then take your diamond to it and see if you're getting all the lines off. If you have any low spots, they'll still be Sharpie. But if you just kind of do that every once in a while before you sharpen, get you a slurry going, keep your stone flat, you won't have to worry about dish stones quite as often. Now, I've done four. I've done 4 knives now on the Waterstones, and my Waterstones show no signs of any dishing yet. But I am using the fine diamond for the slurry. In between, when I switch stones and I switch buckets, I do take the extra fine diamond stone to the sink with an old toothbrush and just scrub it off. I did take the stone carrier off that time since I was flipping the knife anyway. Alright, well, I'm just going to keep refining with the 1000 grit here, and then I'll bring you guys back when I'm ready to switch grits. Alright? Alright, so I'm finished up with the 1000 grit stone. I've got my 3000 grit stone here, and I've had it soaking. And I've washed off my diamond stone with a toothbrush so that I'm ready if I want to do a slurry, maintain the stone, or anything like that. But the first thing I'm going to do before I switch stones is compare stone thicknesses. And if you look at these two, they're just about perfectly the same. So at this point, I'm just going to switch stones, do the Sharpie on the edge to see where I am, and I should be right on the money. Alright. Just wipe my edge off here. Always stropping away a little bit so you don't slice yourself. I use a big fat Sharpie. You can just use the back edge of that and hit the hole, both sides of the edges with one swipe. And if you go above and you get above the shoulder, it just wipes right off with alcohol. So, alright. Get a drop of water on there to make sure my stone's all the way wet. And just see if we're removing Sharpie everywhere. And we are. So at this point, I am just going to keep on refining with this 3000. Same kind of thing I did with the one. I'm just going to go back and forth, try to refine the scratch pattern from the 1000. And I'll be back with you guys in a minute. Alright guys, spent some time with my 3000. Now we're going to go to the 5. So again, I'm always going to go back and compare thickness. And don't know how well you can make that out, but the 5000 is definitely a little bit thinner than the 3000. So we're going to go down a couple millimeters on the angle. The stone is smaller, so we want a smaller angle. Alright. So I'm going to unscrew that. We were just a hair above my Sharpie line. So now I'm going to go back right down to my Sharpie line, my preferred sweet spot. And then I just tighten it slowly to make sure I get it right on the money. Still always going to check with a Sharpie in case we still need to micro adjust. So I'm going to wipe my edge off. Get the Sharpie on there. And I've had my stone soaking, so we'll get it on the stone holder here. I'll go ahead and just run the diamond across there a couple of times. Get a little slurry. And what happens is the diamond stone gives you a suctioning effect. So if you tilt it up and off, like that, you save most of that slurry. Get one drop on there mixed in, and now I should be ready to go here. So I'm going to go real light. And I'm hitting about the bottom half of the edge, so I still need to come up just a hair. So I'm going to micro tune that. Tighten it back down. Alright, and now I am removing Sharpie from the whole edge. So I'm going to just go ahead and keep refining here with that one, and I'll be back with you to switch to the 10,000, and then we'll look at some results. Alright guys, so I've had the 10,000 grit soaking now, and I'm ready to switch off the 5. So I'm going to check thickness, of course, and this is the biggest difference I have. The 10,000 grit is probably 3 mil thicker than the 5. So it's a taller stone, taller angle. So I'm going to adjust the KME to a taller angle. Got my stone on my stone holder there. I'm right on my Sharpies, so I'm going to come up a hair. Basically trying to go for the same amount as the thickness of the difference. And I'm going to mark my edge again. And see where I am. Go ahead and get a slurry. And again, cleaning that diamond with an old toothbrush each time in between. Now on this stone, being a light color, you can really see that slurry that you get. And that's going to allow you to have better cutting action. Alright, let's see where we are. Right on the money. Alright, well I am going to strop this knife, but I'm going to come back and show you the results from the 10,000 Chaucer stone here in just a second. There's the 10,000 grit edge, and like I say, I'm going to go ahead and strop now, but that's another video. This video is about the Waterstones and refining, tips, tricks, whatever you want to call it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you picked something up. If you have any questions, get at me, and there'll be a link below to KME in the comments, in the description. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.